This story, titled When Trust and Protection Collide, begins in the bustling city of Atlanta, where 36-year-old Hannah resides. Hannah is a successful small business owner who spent the last decade building her interior design company from the ground up. Her fiancé, Liam, is a charming 38-year-old music producer with a passion for creating soulful melodies. The two met 3 years ago at a charity gala, and their chemistry was instant. It was one of those fairy tale love stories until the word prenup entered the conversation. It all started innocently enough during a quiet evening at home. Hannah, sitting cross-legged on the couch with her laptop, was combing through wedding planning websites while Liam strummed his guitar absent-mindedly across the room. She looked up and said, "I've been thinking, Liam. Since we're tying the knot, I feel like we should talk about a prenuptial agreement." Liam's hands stilled on the guitar strings, his brows furrowing slightly. "A prenup? Why? You don't trust me?" His reaction took her by surprise. "It's not about trust, Liam. It's just, I've worked so hard for everything I have. My business, my savings. I've poured my life into it. A prenup is just a way to protect both of us in case anything unexpected happens." Liam leaned back in his chair, folding his arms across his chest. "Hannah, planning for divorce before we're even married feels like you're setting us up for failure. Marriage is about partnership, not planning an escape route." Hannah's stomach tightened. She hadn't expected this to be such a sensitive topic. The next day, Hannah confided in her best friend Rachel over coffee. Rachel had been married for nearly 15 years and often served as Hannah's sounding board. "Do you think I'm wrong for asking for a prenup?" Hannah asked, stirring her cappuccino. Rachel shook her head. "Not at all. Protecting your assets doesn't mean you don't trust Liam. It means you're being practical. But it's a tough conversation, no matter how you approach it." Hannah nodded, but her heart felt heavy. She loved Liam deeply and didn't want to jeopardize their relationship over something that seemed to her like a simple precaution. That evening, she decided to try again. "Liam," she began cautiously, "I've been thinking about our conversation. Can we talk more about the prenup? I want us to work through this together." But Liam's reaction was the same. Defensive, even hurt. "Hannah, I don't know why you're pushing this so hard. I love you, and I thought we were building a life together. A prenup feels like you're putting up walls." She sighed, frustration bubbling under the surface. "It's not about walls, Liam. It's about fairness. What if something happens down the road? Something we can't predict? Isn't it better to have a plan in place now while we're both level-headed and in love?" His jaw tightened. "So you're already thinking about what happens if we fall out of love?" "Great. That's really comforting." The weeks leading up to their wedding grew increasingly tense. Every time Hannah brought up the prenup, Liam withdrew further, and yet she couldn't ignore the knot of unease in her chest. One evening, as Hannah sat alone in her office, she opened her laptop and began researching. She read stories of couples who hadn't signed prenuptial agreements and the financial devastation that followed their divorces. But she also read about couples who had navigated the topic successfully, coming to agreements that satisfied both parties. She decided to propose a compromise. The next day, she handed Liam a handwritten letter. "I wrote this because I want to make sure I'm saying everything clearly," she said as he took it. The letter explained her perspective, her fear of losing everything she had worked for, her love for Liam, and her desire to protect their relationship by being transparent and fair. She even suggested they work with a mediator to create a prenup that addressed both of their concerns. Liam read it in silence. When he finished, he looked up at her, his eyes softening. "I didn't realize how much this was weighing on you," he admitted. I don't want us to start our marriage on the wrong foot." "I don't either," Hannah said, her voice trembling. "But ignoring this isn't the answer. I need to feel secure, Liam, not just emotionally, but financially. And I want you to feel secure too." For the first time, it felt like they were truly listening to each other. The couple met with a mediator the following week. It was an emotional process, but it forced them to confront their fears and expectations head-on. Liam admitted that his resistance stemmed from his parents' messy divorce when he was a teenager. He had watched his mother struggle financially after his father took most of their shared assets, and the idea of a prenup triggered those painful memories. Hannah, in turn, shared how hard it had been to build her business from scratch, often working 14-hour days and sacrificing her social life to achieve her dreams. The thought of losing it all, even unintentionally, was terrifying. Through these conversations, they began to craft an agreement that felt fair to both of them. The prenup would protect Hannah's business, but it also included provisions to ensure Liam wouldn't be left vulnerable in the event of a divorce. It wasn't an easy process, but by the end of it, they both felt a sense of relief. The day they signed the prenup, Liam turned to Hannah and said, "I still don't love the idea of this, but I understand why it's important to you. And if it makes you feel more secure, then it's worth it." Hannah smiled through her tears. "Thank you for trusting me, Liam. This isn't about doubting us. It's about protecting what we've built together." Their wedding day was just weeks away, and as they stood hand in hand preparing to exchange vows, Hannah felt a new depth of love for Liam. They had faced one of the hardest challenges of their relationship and come out stronger. The days leading up to the wedding were filled with joy and chaos. Between finalizing the guest list and choosing the perfect centerpiece, Hannah and Liam worked hard to repair the emotional distance that had crept into their relationship during the prenup discussions. Though the tension had eased, Hannah couldn't help but wonder if Liam had fully come to terms with their decision. One evening, as they sat in their living room surrounded by wedding favors, Liam looked at Hannah with a wistful expression. I didn't think I could get past the idea of a prenup," he admitted, his voice soft. "But going through this process with you made me realize something important." Hannah tilted her head, curious. "What's that?" "It's not about the document itself. It's about how we handled it. Together. For a long time, I let my fear of the past cloud my judgment. But you stayed patient, even when I didn't make it easy for you. That means more to me than I can put into words." Hannah reached for his hand, her heart swelling with emotion. "And you trusted me enough to have those hard conversations, even when it hurt. That means the world to me, Liam." The wedding day arrived, and it was everything they had dreamed of. The ceremony took place in a picturesque garden, with sunlight filtering through the trees and a gentle breeze carrying the scent of blooming flowers. As Hannah walked down the aisle, her eyes locked on Liam's, and for a moment, the rest of the world faded away. When it came time to exchange vows, Liam surprised her by incorporating their recent journey into his promises. "Hannah," he began, his voice steady but filled with emotion, "you've shown me what true partnership looks like. You've taught me that love isn't just about the easy moments. It's about facing the hard ones together. I promise to honor you, to listen to you, and to protect what we build together for the rest of my life." Hannah's eyes filled with tears as she recited her own vows, echoing the sentiment of unity and trust. In that moment, she knew they were starting their marriage on the strongest foundation possible: honesty and mutual respect. But life, as it often does, had its share of surprises in store. Just 6 months into their marriage, Liam's music production business faced an unexpected downturn. A major client pulled out of a contract, leaving him scrambling to cover expenses. One evening, as he sat at the dining table, his head in his hands, Hannah approached him with a determined expression. "Liam, let me help," she said, placing a hand on his shoulder. He looked up, his eyes filled with both gratitude and reluctance. "Hannah, I can't ask you to do that. You've already done so much." "You're not asking," she replied firmly. "We're a team, remember? What's mine is yours." In that moment, Liam realized that the prenup, which he had once viewed as a barrier, had never been about dividing them. It was simply a safety net, one they might never need. And now, as Hannah stood by his side, ready to support him in his time of need, he felt more secure in their partnership than ever before. The experience brought them closer, deepening their appreciation for each other's strengths. Liam eventually bounced back, securing new clients and even expanding his business in ways he hadn't anticipated. Through it all, Hannah was his rock, just as he had been hers during the prenup negotiations. As their first anniversary approached, Hannah and Liam reflected on the journey they had taken together. Over dinner, Liam raised a glass in a toast. "To us," he said with a smile, "to trust, teamwork, and the lessons that make us stronger." Hannah clinked her glass against his, her heart full. "To us," she echoed. Their story wasn't perfect. No relationship ever is. But they had learned that love isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about facing them head-on with open hearts and unwavering commitment. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more heartfelt tales. Your support means everything to me.